Hey y'all, so I thought I'd hop on and show you guys my setup and kind of what I do for taking pictures of like my acrylics and my badge reels, because I get a lot of questions about that. So this is just a 12 by 13 light box that I ordered off of Amazon, and it's just an all white one. It came with several backgrounds, like I only have two right here, but I have others. There's one up top here. I'm terrible at always putting stuff on top, so it kind of caves in this part and makes my lights underneath want to come off sometimes, so I have to kind of stick them. But anyhow, it gets the job done. And this one just has a setting like this where I can dim the light, but I always pretty much just leave it on the brightest. And I use a professional camera. This is a Canon EOS 70D. This lens actually though did not come with this. I have a Sigma lens, so this is like a pretty high quality shooting lens and camera, but you can use like your professional camera settings on your phone if you have that, or if you don't, you can still try to get great pictures with just your phone, and then maybe use Lightroom if you don't have like good editing settings like tools or whatever that already come on your phone. Lightroom is a great editing app that you can use as well. But for this, I have it set like on manual, but it does auto, like focus whenever I'm going to take a picture. And I pretty much always leave my ISO at 500, and my speed, I'll do usually like 640 and 800. It just depends on the acrylic and the colors, because some colors just, it's hard to capture, like especially like neons, it's really hard to capture neon colors, like the true colors of them. So I just, adjust my settings, however I can. And then on this type of camera, what I like best is I go to the white balance and I do this. I don't really, know like what that does, but I did find like when I adjust the white balance and bring it out some, so say like I can bring it out like, quite a bit, but I only do it once. This feature will give me, whenever I go to taking a picture, it'll end up giving me 3 shots of that same picture. And the second one is the one that I usually like. So it'll give me like a warmer tone, a cooler tone, and then either maybe the original tone. I just know it gives me 3. And I always go with like the one that has more of a cool tone to it. I'm not a huge fan of like the warmer tones, because that's more of like a yellowing. And the cooler tone usually makes my colors more like vibrant and like, brighter. And I just have these are actually pen stands, so they're acrylic pen stands. Let me set this down real quick. Let me carefully put that down. So these are just some acrylic pen stands. They're meant for, displaying and photographing like your pens. So they're really for that purpose. But by a happy accident one day, I don't remember what I was doing, but I managed to like clip, you know, a badge rail on here, and I was like, hey, let me try taking a picture of that or with that. And so this is how I photograph my completed badge reels, and when I want to post like acrylic blanks that are available. So I'll either, let me grab a badge reel actually. So I'll use it for, you know, my completed ones. And then I use like the tacky putty stuff, and I'll put my acrylics on there, and I'll, you know, photograph my available acrylics. Now, tips that I have is when you're taking pictures, if you're having trouble, like, you know, depending on some of the like glitter colors that you maybe have or vinyl colors, I sometimes, you know, will position either my acrylic all the way back. However, sometimes that will give you more of a glare from the light. So definitely like find positions that work for you. Not necessarily the middle is always going to be your best option. A lot of times I bring my acrylics forward and I just adjust the brightness or the lighting like on my camera itself before I take the picture, which is the speed one. So because I leave the ISO at 500, which ISO also can adjust like the brightness of your pictures. But if you have pro camera settings on your phone, I would definitely play with the different settings so you can see what makes your pictures brighter and darker, and, you know, just look better or whatever. But so most of the time I will photograph somewhat in the center, or I bring it up forward. Occasionally I go to the very back. Another thing that sometimes helps, like if you're getting too much glare, is I put a piece of putty like on the very back, and I try to make sure that I angle my camera to where I don't see that, but it'll help kind of tilt this forward a little bit to reduce some of the glaring if you're getting like too much glare. So those are just some tips. And let me see if there's anything else I can think of. As far as editing goes, I have a Samsung Galaxy Ultra S22, and I love the camera on there, but I also love the editing features. Like they have really good editing features. So all I really have to do is occasionally I adjust just the light balance, and I always sharpen my images. I set them to 20 for the sharpness, and I also adjust the definition, and I set that at 30. Pretty much all of my pictures will have sharpness of 20, definition at 30, and I'll usually only mess with light balance and sometimes contrast. Pretty much anything else I don't really have to touch because of the settings that I do on my camera. I already know like the sweet spot there, and I know pretty much where to position my acrylics like under the lighting. I do find white, like just solid white background, takes really good pictures. And then let me see if I can clear this off up here. Actually, let me just bring these down so that I don't drop anything. Sorry, I should have had this prepped and ready to go. This one here, this one photographs well also for a lot of times for anything that is like pinks or very colorful. If it's looking too washed out with my white background, I'll usually switch to this. And this like more of like grayish background that came with this set seems to make the colors like pop a little better sometimes. This other side is also pretty good too. I used to use the black every now and then, but black to me, I don't know, it just kind of doesn't it just doesn't look as good and pop as much as the white and that gray one that I just showed you. But I think that's it. Like, I just wanted to kind of give you a little inside look on how I photograph, because I'm always getting asked about how do I take my pictures, what light box do I use. I don't remember how much I paid for this. It was no longer available anytime somebody would ask me, and I would try to send them the link on Amazon. It may be available now, I'm not sure. But if it is, I will post it in the description so you can get the link that way. Otherwise, just whatever cheap one you can find on Amazon. This, like I said, this was a 12 by 13. And it's just like it's just like a plastic, you know, you just unfold it and, you know, screw in these little things right here to hold it together. And it came with several backgrounds. Like there's like a blue one, the white, the black, this double-sided gray one. I want to say there was like a light gray, like a solid light gray, and maybe a yellow. I can't remember, but I don't use all of them. So anyway, I'm not sure how good the ones that have like a silver reflector like on the sides would work. You know, since this is all I've ever used, but I know the reflector can sometimes help, but white is definitely good for helping to bounce off light. So another good tip would be, if you're struggling with some lighting, is to somehow try to have some white, like a white cardstock or some type of something just white in front when you're taking a picture to help bounce light towards your items as well, if you need that. But just definitely play around with the position of where your items are. Like if it, you know, looks better in the middle and towards the back, closer to the front. Also with this putty stuff, what does help is being able to, like, so for the acrylics, I can make my acrylic be more positioned and angled down, or I can angle them more up if I need to. You know, whatever will make it look better and show more of the detail. The same can go for the badge rails. Like if you don't want to clip them and you need, like, say, so let me show you. When the alligator is clipped on, right, it's going to just pretty much be, you know, straight this way. But if you need your light to not hit it as much, you can use the putty to make it come down more, or if you need to have the light bounce off of it more, you can use the putty to angle your badge roll more up. So you know, the tacky putty is definitely great to have on hand for using the stands and everything to photograph. But all right, guys, hope that helped. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I will try to answer as quickly as possible.